Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram. Scenery is so beautiful, Swamiji. Scenery, so nice to see. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Battery 100%. Ready to connect.
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai
USB audio.
Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri
Connected to
Ram,
SHECHIDANANDA.
Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram.
Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om.
Shri Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everyone. Hari Om, Hari Om. Everybody can hear. Everybody can hear.
Yes, Swamiji.
So we are in which chapter now?
Going to 13th chapter.
12th. So yesterday we completed 12th, you know.
Yes, Swami.
What is it that strikes to us from the 12th? Anything that remains with us?
How to become Lord's dearest devotee.
How to become Lord's dearest devotee? Good. How to become?
By being kind to all living things, by not having enmity,
There are so many values, you know. The last 7 slokas, they depict number of values, and at the end of each sloka, he says, "He is my dearest devotee. He is my dearest devotee. He is my dearest devotee." So after hearing this, as bhaktas or spiritual aspirants, what is it that triggers us? Slokas impact on us? Yesterday we had heard this 12th chapter, and we remember how are we to become the dearest devotee. The next question, what are the qualities? Okay.
Advesta Sarva Bhutanam, Swamiji.
Yeah, okay, then. So what? It's a sloga only, you know. What is its impact on us?
ఏ భూతం ఎందు ద్వేషం లేకుండా ఉన్నాడు.
No, that is okay. All these 7 slogas, roughly about 30 values.
If you do one work with touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of dedication, like that you have to do all the work.
Okay.
Swamiji,
Swamiji.
I think I am not clear. I will make it more clear. We went through, the question came up in our mind that what does this 12th chapter stand for? Then God is prompting to tell us that how to become his dearest devotee. Then the next question is how to become his dearest devotee. Then the answer comes that it starts from Advesta Sarvabhutana. There are about 30 values. If those values, then the next question is, what is the impact?
Swamiji, that keeps the 7 slokas of keep on ringing in during sleep also, Swamiji. அது வந்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூட டீப்பா போய் we have to bring it to our daily practice life இல்லையா? நைட்ல அதே போயிட்டு இருக்கு அந்த ஸ்லோகமே திருப்பி திருப்பி தூங்குறமா முழிச்சுட்டு இருக்கமான்னு தெரியல. The ஸ்லோகம் keep on ringing அப்படி வருது.
அதான் அந்த இம்பாக்ட் என்னன்னா அதுதான். That is the impact. Okay. Then anything else in that chapter?
அதுல அமிர்தம் and தர்மியம் சொன்னீங்களே நீங்கள்.
தர்மியம் and அமிர்தம்.
அதை பத்தி டீப்பா எனக்கு இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூடியும் நீங்கள் சொல்லுங்களேன்.
அமிர்தம், by the word dharmyam, we can put it in this way. As an individual, none of us can exist by ourselves. Because of the factors other than me, I exist. So I should be thinking about quality, care and concern for the rest of my creation. I may fail, I may forget. So the dharmyam aspect is my commitment towards the factors other than me. And Amritam stands for the commitment towards making inward progress. So outwardly, I love and serve the co-creations. Inwardly, I try to move towards the Lord who is seated within me. So these...
That means, Swamiji, to become a dearest devotee, I should move towards my inner being.
Both. Because so long as we have got an embodied self, we owe everything to him through his creation.
Yes. So we cannot ignore the creation.
Not merely confining myself to labeled spiritual practice inside the house or inside a cave. Because I exist because of the factors other than me. So the Lord tries to explain through 30 values, starting from malice towards none, adveshta sarvabhutanam. He is trying to make us understand that those who don't have this, malice, those who are friendly with others, those who are compassionate, like that he goes on listing, he is dearer to me. That means he is asking us to expand ourselves from me to we, so that we are always reminded about our commitment toward the co-creations. So dharmyam handles that. Not merely dharmyam. Amritam also should be there. Simultaneously. You gave me a human birth. You gave me a wonderful ambience. You gave me all the co-creations. And you have now prompted me to think about you and to have a blissful life in the company of you in the form of creations. So the creation is also valid. I don't say that this is mithya, then I keep quiet. No, it's only a word if I say mithya. Because I have to exist. For my existence, I need your creation. That is why you created this creation. I was not aware. I was thinking about me and mine only. I never thought that I owe everything to this creation. Then you made me to think. So dharmyam aspect and amritam aspect both should go hand in hand. Under the banner of spirituality, we cannot divorce the creation from our mind. We are very much with the creation. Even now and here we need. So that aspect has been highlighted. And prior to these aspects, there were 4 steps the Lord advised. That is also very important. Anybody remembers any step? That is also very important.
Swamiji, we have to follow, devotee should follow Sri Krishna's teachings when, all the 24 hours, like that.
No, he was suggesting about the 4 methods.
One-pointedness, yoga. Yesterday 4 points we discussed. Yoga, Patanjali, 8 steps also we have discussed, Swamiji. And he said first try with one, if another that is not, then next, like that 4 steps. One is one-pointedness. Mind should be concentrated. If it is not possible, we can try with yoga. If yoga is not possible, then dedicate all without selfishness. Try to do all the work and dedicate to me.
If that is not also possible,
just
3 you have said.
Yeah.
The final one. If
Final
nothing
one
is
is-
possible, we have to dedicate the fruit of action.
Fruit.
That means whatever he prompts, we just act.
Just to do it.
So this is also very important aspect in this 12th chapter. You think about me and always dwell on my presence. If that is not possible, you take to some exercise, some withdrawal, some self-denial, some practice by which you can remember me. If that is also not possible, you do everything, the prompting has come, I'm acting it, that's all. If that is also not possible, whatever it may be, whatever the fruit of action is there, that you renounce. So finally he puts it, rather than practice, knowledge is important. Compared to knowledge, meditation is important. Over and above all these things is renouncing the fruit of action. Only by that we will be able to have peace in our mind. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasad, jnanad dhyanam vishishyate, dhyanad karma phalatyagam, tyagaschandir anandaram. It's a beautiful steps. Then he starts talking about Adveshta Sarvabhutana. So this 12th chapter, and as we said, it's a manual, a pocket manual. Every now and then we can try it because we want to become his devotee. And we have to qualify ourselves. How will he call me as his devotee? I may be telling I am a devotee, but no. I am a devotee of Papa. I may be telling, but Papa has to say, no, you are my devotee. That will come only when I actualize the ideal he represents. In his case, that universality, no? That cosmic reality, acceptance of that cosmic reality. And through Mataji's life, she's teaching us how to develop this absence of otherness. Through Pujya Swamiji's life, he's teaching us through what is self-effacement is. Like that, And I should not merely stop by praising them. I must be able to imbibe as much as I can. So the not merely telling, I must become a true devotee of Papa, a true devotee of Mataji. Like that I must keep on telling. Not by going to ashram or prostrating before their image. That is also necessary. That is the instrumental cause, no doubt. Every day morning in our prayer, we may bring all of them before us, and then we touch their feet and pray to them. The Almighty Lord of the universe, through all these forms, structured and kindled so many points by which I will be able to move closer to the nameless, formless object, to kindly enable me to do that. So these are all some of the things which, so that we come out of the 12th chapter. Otherwise, it becomes an academic exercise. We don't want that. We need that chapter only to touch and kindle these things in our own way, in our own language, in our own... Because our limitation, each one's limitation is different. Each one's interpretation also will be different. So this has to be hammered while going through Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, it slips into an academic exercise. We may be able to reproduce, learn by heart, memorize it. All those things will be there. But ultimately, it should zero to what? No? That is very important. So kindly with that bhavana, 12th chapter we have to go through again and again and again and again. No? As we said yesterday, it's a small chapter with 20 shlokas. And with that background, we will go to the 13th chapter. 13th chapter is named as Kshetra Kshetratnya Yoga. And the Lord says, what is Kshetram? Normally we say Kshetram, we say temple, no. Here the Kshetram is this body. He is defining what is the Kshetram and what is meant by Kshetratnya and what is meant by Jnana. So to know the Kshetra and the Kshetratnya, that is the real knowledge. So he first explains, he had already explained about it, about the Kshetra, but here again he brings it out. Mahabhutanya ahankaro buddhir avyaktamevacha indriyani dashaigam cha pancha chendriya gochara ichha dvesha sugam dukkam sankhadas chetana dhridi etat kshetram samasena savigaram udahar. Beautiful. Easy for us to understand. Panchabhutas. There are 24 categories in this universe. Mahabhutani, the 5 Mahabhutas, which mean very minute nuclear dimension of matter like fire, water, earth, etc. There are 5. These 5, they are the physical substances with which we explain them. But what they really constitute in their primordial form is called Mahabhutas. Then the Ahankara, the sense of individuality, I notion. In the cosmic evolution, you do not see I, but when you come to the organic evolution at the human stage, you find this I coming in Buddhi. Buddhi or intellect, reason, avyaktam evaja, the undifferentiated aspect of nature. Vyakata means differentiated. Avyakata means undifferentiated. Indriyani dashaigam cha, the 10 sense of organs plus, that means organs of action, organs of perception. Karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. He is explaining about the kshetra. Please note that. He is explaining about this deha. What is it constituted of? 5 organs of action, hand, feet, etc. 5 organs of perception, eye, ear, nose, etc. Which are, these are called the Desha Indriyas and Manas. Manas is also a type of Indriya, a little more evolved, but it is still treated as an Indriya. Indriya Gochara, the 5 objects experienced by the senses. Each sense organs has got a sense field, sense objects. Form, sound, taste, touch, smell. The senses experience their objects, and so the world has a 5-fold experience. Then Icha, Dvesham. desire, anger, happiness, misery, the combination of the various parts that make the sankata. And chetana is very important. Intelligence. Dhriti, great courage, or willpower. Dhriti, great courage, or willpower. All these are kshetras. I have illustrated these are kshetras. I have illustrated this kshetra fully along with their modifications. So the whole objective universe is kshetra, in which we include our own body, our mind, our sensory system, everything. The only thing beyond all this is pure intelligence, kshetrajna. Pure consciousness that lies at the center of the universe. And then now he takes about what is jnana. Again, in another, in 2-3 slokas, in our language, they are values.
Swamiji, I was under the impression that Kshetrajna only is the body, but today you made me understand that even the intellect.
That is all part of this kshetra. Kshetrajna is the one power behind it, rendering them powerful, making them active.
So, through whatever the activities are there, even if it is mind, the activities are going on. So, it is Kshetra only.
Kshetra only. Kshetrajna, he clearly mentions, pure intelligence, pure consciousness that lies at the center of the universe. Then, in order to understand this, he is bringing about more than 17 or nearly 20 values. In our language, it is values. We will just go through that. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, nityamatma vinigraham, indriyarteshu vairagyam, anahankaram, yevacha, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam, asaktir anabhishwanga putra dara griha adishu, nityam cha samajittatvam ishtanishtopatishu, maijan anya yogena bhaktiravya vijarini, vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana samsati. Adhyatmajnana natyatvam tattvajnanartha darshanam edatjnanam iti proktam ajnanam yatatho anyatha. So he lists about what is jnanam. In our language, this is values. Humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, forbearance, uprightness, service to the teacher, purity, steadiness, self-control, renunciation or excessive attachment to sense objects, absence of egoism, reflection on the evils of birth, death, old age, sickness, pain, non-attachment, non-identification of self with son, wife, home, and the rest, and constant even-mindedness in the occurrence of the desirable and the undesirable, unswerving devotion to me by the yoga of non-separation, inclination to resort to sequestered places, distaste for society of men and women, constant application to spiritual knowledge, realizing the purpose of true knowledge, all these are declared to be knowledge. What is opposed to it is called ignorance. So first he explained about the kshetra. Then talks about the jnanam. And kshetrajna also. Kshetrajna he did not elaborate. Pure consciousness, pure intelligence, primordial intelligence, the first intelligence. It can't be put in any other words, chetana.
Absolute intelligence, Swamiji. Absolute intelligence.
Absolute intelligence. because it can't be explained. Only a relative intelligence can be explained. Absolute intelligence, one has to go try to within and feel the experience, that's all. An ordinary intelligence we know, but this absolute intelligence, pure intelligence, primordial intelligence, which that is the starting point, That is the starting point. So Kshetra, and to know that the Kshetra is given to us, we need a platform, no? A sense of individuality is given to us to know him. That is why this Manushya Janma, human birth is supposed to be the sacred one, because only through this birth we will be able to know his presence. Think about it. So this is also a very important chapter. To know about ourselves. God is seated within, in the form of intelligence, in the form of love, in the form of creativity, in the form of potentiality, in the form of awareness. And he has given us this human birth. And by dedication to him, by devotion to him, we try to become aware of his presence. At the moment, we are not aware of him. So this Kshetrajna will definitely help us. Because we got stuck with the Kshetra. We did not move further. That is why the Kshetra has been elaborately discussed. And the one behind the Kshetra is also discussed. And how the knowledge by which this is made known to us, that is also discussed. In all these, we call it as values. You will find that that which takes us away from him has been highlighted. Normally, we confine ourselves to this body. That is why he said, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anandarshanam. Because we start our life with the birth. And we now think our life will end with death. This is the normal. So here through this stanza, he says, Janma Mrityu, both are there, Jara Vyadi. Old age, disease, life. But suppose I keep on thinking about the nature of this body, the transient nature of the body. It, according to the Lord, it will help me to slowly or gradually detach myself from this body. And it makes us to look at ourselves, how this has been going on right from the moment we started thinking about me. We never wept, when the childhood passed away. Every stage we were able to accept it. How is it that possible? So what he now says is not impossible. This dukkha dosha anudarshanam has been going on. We get disease, we get it cured. But what we have forgotten is that even then we are within the constraints of the body only, boundaries of the body. Because Indriyarthi...
When as a child we fall down and we get hurt, there is a bruise and then it gets okay, that gives us confidence that yes, it can be healed soon. So, right from childhood, we start looking forward to a normalcy again.
Yeah.
Again created by God.
Yes, you are right. Suppose we get a disease, we don't cry for it. No, we immediately try for the remedial measures. We take it. I'm having headache, I'm having stomach problem, I'm having this problem, that problem. Immediately go to the doctor, get medicines, get myself all right. So there is everything is okay. There is Anandashram is there. But we don't still go beyond the boundaries of this body. So that is why before that he says, Indriyarteshu Vairagyam, Anahankaram. Then only he says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anandashram. So I develop a distaste for or disinterestedness for the sense objects. Indriyarteshu Vairagyam, Anahankaram. I have been given, I have been facilitated, I have been provided. The passive voice comes, not the active voice. I am doing, I am enjoying, I am earning, I am plus. So this anahankaram. And before that he says, there are some steps. Amanitvam. That self-effacement, adambitvam. Damba is not there. Ahimsa. Thought, word and deed, we don't injure anybody. Shanti. Always try to become peaceful in our life. Arjavam, straightforwardness, uprightness. Acharyopasanam. All these things were conveyed to me through a spiritual preceptor. I am deeply grateful to him. Otherwise, I would not have been knowing at all. I would not be sitting here. Neither reading, nor hearing, nor everything. All because of that spiritual preceptor who touched and kindled. So, Acharyopasanam. Shaucham. I should be pure, no? Pure in the sense, the me and mine should be getting reduced. And in an atmosphere, ambience where you are not disturbed. Suppose nauseating smell is there, irritating atmosphere is there outside. What will happen? Mind gets distorted. Shaucham. Stairyam. Committed to the ideal. So these values, we try. Oh, this will help us. Then only we may be able to develop this Indriyarteshu Vairagyam. Start thinking about it. They are very, very important. Then, when you say Putra Dhara, Asakti Ranabhishwanga, Putra Dhara Griha Adishu, it doesn't mean that only applicable for the ladies, No. What is meant is personally getting attached to our near and dear ones. That is a normal life pattern. So that is what is highlighted here. Not that one after reading this we become. No, it's not like that. We give equal importance for everybody, but the only thing is God has given us this, A Grihastha life he has given us with certain purpose. And I discharge my duties through that Grihastha Dharma. But at the same time ensure that we don't get attached. So these Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti, Arjavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atma Vinigraham 9, Indriyarteshu Vairagyam 10, Anahankaram 11, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anandarshanam 12, Asakti Ranabhishwanga, Putra Dhara Grihadishu 13, Nityam Cha Samachittatvam 14, then Maijan Enni Yogena, Anya Yogena Bhaktir. So 15, resorting to solitude whenever it's possible. 16, 17, So these 17 or 18, this also we just like we heard more than 20 or 25 in 12th chapter. So by the time we finish, even 16th also he is going to narrate about 25 or 26. Through various chapters he has been highlighting this because we need that values. Not that we need that value, we need something that should touch and kindle the values in us. I should become aware of these values. So he is putting it through so many chapters, right from 2nd chapter he started. Every time the emphasis was on dedication to me, devotion to me. So bhakti is there highlighted everywhere. And in order to become a real bhakta, all these values have been listed through different chapters, and the context is different, that's all. Here the context is to know about the kshetra and the kshetrajna. In that he brings it out in the form of jnana. And Vinobaji, while on this chapter, he gives a wonderful interpretation on one particular shloka. Upadrashta, 22nd. Upadrashta, Anumanta, Chabarta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. Paramatmedi chapyukdo dehesmin purusha paraha. Elaborate. And this is very, very nice for all of us to understand the kshetrajna. And how do we respond? The relevance of all these 17 or 18 values which you have heard, that has been beautifully brought in, and now it will get stamped in our heart. He says, first the self watches, the kshetrajna watches, does not give its assent to what is being done. Referee, sakshi. So far, we have never understood about this sakshi. We were viewing it from our body level, individual level. Vinobaji says, at that time the self watches, it will not interfere. But the jiva, individual soul, which has still now been acting under the impression that it is nothing but the body, slowly wakes up. How does it get woken up? God arranges it in such a way that we come in contact with a Mahatma. Either physically we come in contact with him or we hear about him. Somebody says about some aspect of his life. Somebody says something about from Shastras. Slowly, we try to understand that there is something more than what I think about my life. Because it's a pleasant feeling that develops when I hear about a Mahatma's Mahatmyam, glories. So he wakes up. The realization dawns that it has been living like an animal. When the jiva comes to this point, the realm of ethics begins. Amanittam, adambittam, ahimsa, all these things are ethics. Then the question whether something is right or wrong, moral or immoral, crops up at every step. At this stage, man starts exercising rational discrimination. Vivek. Because the ethics, the ethics is the base. That which is not in conformity with the ethics, that which is not in line with this ethics, immediately the mind says, don't do it. It's called, I would have slipped into it, but somehow I'm pulled back. ethics. So at this stage, man starts exercising rational discrimination, which he has given. In the Kshetra, you remember the mind intellect. His analytical mind starts working, impulsive action ceases, self-restraint takes the place of self-indulgence. When the jiva ascends to this moral plane, that is why he has listed about this 18 again in this chapter. The self no longer remains a silent spectator. It gives its approval from within, Hanumanta congratulates. A voice is heard, well done. Suppose a hungry man comes to your door when you have just sat down to eat and you give your plate of food to him. When you remember this good act in the night, you will experience a different kind of joy. The self, Atman, God, will say softly, you have indeed acted well. When a mother pats her child on the back and says, well done, my boy, he feels that he has got the highest possible reward. Likewise, such words from the Lord within encourage us and provide us impetus to do better. The jiva at this stage stands on the moral plane, leaving the life of self-indulgence behind. Second stage, Upadrashta Anumanta. Then comes the next stage. Man tries to cleanse his mind in the course of doing duties while living a moral life. He strives hard but gets exhausted at some point. The jiva then prays to the Lord. O Lord, I have come to the end of my tether. Give me more strength. Until a man realizes that he cannot succeed by his own effort, however hard, the true significance of prayer does not dawn on him. One should first exhaust all his strength, and when it is found insufficient, cry earnestly for the Lord's help, as Draupadi did. The eternal springs of the Lord's grace and compassion is overflowing. She tried to protect herself, Draupadi. Then only finally she, both hands, At that time, what did he do? He was not standing there as a witness. The Lord has now come closer. He not only expresses his approval, but also rushes to help. Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta. At first, the Lord was standing at a distance. The teacher asked the pupil to solve a problem, then watches from a distance. Likewise, the Lord lets the jiva grapple with the problems when it is immersed in the life of self-indulgence. The jiva thereafter ascends to the moral plane. Now the Lord can no longer remain neutral. Finding the jiva doing good deeds, he approves and compliments. When the good deeds cleanse the mind of gross impurities, and the time comes for the removal of subtle impurities, human efforts prove to be inadequate, then we beseech the Lord and he responds. He rushes to help us. Whenever the bhakta begins to lose heart, he is there ready to help. The sun god is ever waiting at your door. Beautiful example. He will not barge, You have to just open, that's all. Sun god is ever waiting, but he would not forcibly open the door and barge into the room. He would not even knock the door. His job is to serve, and he behaves accordingly. But the moment you open the door, he will come in with all his rays and dispel darkness. The Lord,
That is inner conscience that comes as God.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So the moment, he will come with all his rays. The Lord acts likewise. The moment you call him for help, he will rush to you with outstretched hand. If the nostrils are open, air is bound to come in. If the door is open, light is bound to come in. But even I find these examples unsatisfactory. The Lord is nearer to us. He is more eager to come in. So he does not remain content in being a witness or a permitter. He becomes a supporter, Varta. One who helps and supports wholeheartedly. When we find ourselves unable to purify the mind completely, we make impassioned pleas. We cry helplessly, I am wholly in your hands, O Lord, take care of me. We pray, you are the only one to help me. I need your support. Will the Lord, who is all compassion, then stand aloof? He will rush to help his devotees, to provide whatever they lack. That is how he helped Rohidas in tanning leather, Sajan the butcher in selling meat, Kabir in weaving cloth, Janaba in grinding corn. The next stage is to dedicate to the Lord the fruit of action which you have received by his grace instead of taking it ourselves. Bhokra. I am not the enjoyer, he is the enjoyer. This particular stanza, please learn it by heart, memorize it. Because slowly the clarification will come. Entire our life, this spiritual aspirant or bhakta's life has been beautifully portrayed in this. This fruit belongs to you. The bhakta will never take it for himself. Bharta bhokta. Namdev insistently urged the Lord to drink the milk that he had offered. This is an extremely adorable sentiment. Namdeva is offering to the Lord the fruit of his action in the form of the milk. Whatever you have achieved and acquired is because of his grace and is therefore to be dedicated to him. When Dharmaraj was about to set foot in the heaven, the dog accompanying him was stopped at the gate. Dharmaraj then instantly renounced the privilege of entering the heaven that he had become entitled to as a result of the merits acquired. A bhakta also offers to the Lord the fruit of his actions readily, instantaneously. The Lord who appeared as the witness, the permitter, the supporter, now becomes the experiencer. The jiva now ascends to a stage wherein the Supreme Lord himself, present within the body, becomes the enjoyer of the fruit, Maheshwara. So hereafter, making a resolve should also be given up. There are 3 stages in any work. First, we make a resolve, then we act, and finally we receive the fruit of action. We have acted with his help, have dedicated the fruit to him. It was the Lord who acted, who enjoyed the fruit. Therefore, now let him be the one to make resolve. Let him be there in the work throughout all its stages. The water flows without demur, as directed by the gardener. One should become like that. That is, one should let one's life be guided by the Lord. The water nourishes the plants and trees of the gardener's liking. In the same way, let the Lord decide what action should take place through me. Let me entrust to him all the responsibility for all the results of my mind. When I am riding a horse, making it carry all my weight, what is the point in carrying the baggage on my head? Let that burden also be placed on horseback. As anyway, the horse is going to bear all the weight, even if I keep the load on my head. Thus, the Lord eventually becomes one who moves my life, makes it blossom. My life is then completely in his hands, and he does it with what he likes. He thus becomes the Maheshwara who holds the reins of my life. Progressing in this way, the whole life becomes saturated with his presence. Only the curtain of the body then separates me from him. When that is removed, Jiva and Shiva, Atma Paramatma, become one. Thus we have to realize God progressively as the Upadrashta, Anumanta, Chabarta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. Witness, the permitter, the supporter, the experiencer, finally. So to recapitulate, the Lord is at first a silent spectator. He encourages us when we ascend to the moral plane and start doing good deeds, when our efforts are found inadequate. To remove subtle impurities in our minds, we pray to him. He rushes to our help. We should then dedicate the fruit of actions to him and let him be the enjoyer thereof. And finally, we should surrender to him the right to make results and let our life be suffused with him. That is man's ultimate goal. A seeker to reach this goal, soaring on the two wings of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. To achieve all this, the firm foundation of moral sadhana is a sine qua non. We should discern between truth and untruth and follow the truth. We should discern between the essential and the non-essential, stick to the essential. We should throw away the shell, keep the pearl. This is how we should begin our quest. We should proceed further through our own efforts as well as God's grace. If we have learned to make the distinctions between body and soul, it will be immensely useful. In this context, I am reminded of crucifixion of Jesus. While he was being crucified, words came to his lips, "O Lord, why are they tormenting me?" But he immediately collected himself, said, "Thy will be done, Lord. Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Here the point has been reached where the body has dropped like a wind. Whenever I think of disengaging the soul from the body, Jesus' life stands before my eyes as a perfect example. Without the power to discern within truth and untruth, we cannot distinguish the body and the self. That is why this chapter is very, very important, Kshetra, Kshetrajna and Jnana. This discrimination, this knowledge should become a part of our being. We associate knowledge with knowing, but knowing through reason only does not lead to true knowledge. That knowledge only we have understood as knowledge, reasoning knowledge. Knowledge coming out of reasoning. Knowledge coming out of memorizing. Knowledge coming out of remembrance. But here that is not. The knowledge absolute. Eating does not mean stuffing the mouth with food. Food should be properly chewed, it should be digested, converted into blood. Only then the action of eating is come. Likewise, intellectual understanding is not enough. Knowledge should be fully assimilated. It should become a part of our being and should get reflected through every action of ours. Here we remember Chidanji Maharaj's daily life and daily sadhana. They are inseparable. By daily sadhana, I am reminded of the values, of the goal to be achieved, or the ideal to be scaled. Daily life is the field in which I can try this. Without daily life, I cannot put it on test. Without daily sadhana, I cannot put test. What is to be put tested? No? Examination, no? Textual knowledge.
Daily life and daily sadhana, daily battle, Swamiji.
Daily practice and daily sadhana? I couldn't hear.
Daily battle.
Daily life and daily sadhana.
Daily battle, Swamiji, daily battle.
Daily battles.
Daily?
Battles.
Daily battle.
Battle. It is, it's correct. It's a battle of life. It's a battle of life we have to win, That is why he said, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu maham anusmare idyacha. At all times and in all fields, remember me and fight the battle of life. It's a severe test, no doubt, I agree. Why we say it's a test? Because our mind intellect equipment has not been trained. In that line of bringing this God dimension into everything, we have not trained so far. That is why we call it as a battle. So here we have been given clues. We may fail, doesn't matter. But at least we should be clear. Daily life is a field given to me to test the daily values, daily sadhana. If the sadhana is not tested, it will never become mine. It will be only academic. It will be intellectual. Just like exams, The text is giving us the knowledge. The teacher is teaching us the knowledge. But how do I know that I have imbibed it? That is why exams come. Nobody is there to help me. If I have not absorbed it, if I have not assimilated, I don't know what the questions also will be. So that test gives me whether I have assimilated. And I have to bring out the answer in my own way. Think about all these things. God is teaching us through the Vyavaharik life also. And after this, we go to the college, we go to the graduation, then postgraduate. And then what happens? Again, if we pursue on a particular subject, when we go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it, then the God reveals a new dimension and it comes out in the form of a thesis. And then the panel approves and you get a PhD. It is not the academic, all our norms, all our life patterns are based upon these revelations. That is why it is encouraged. Everybody will not take PhD. Those selected one in whom the commitment to the ideal is becoming so deep, they go deeper and deeper and deeper. University provides them with all the facilities. There will be a guide. You are given sufficient duration. You go through various texts. You do your own manana. It is purely an individual effort, and then the spark comes from within, and you reveal it and they appreciate, they pat on your back, they encourage you to bring it out, and then it comes out in the form of the ideal, which was lying hidden in everybody's mind. Through you, it is touched, kindled, brought out, and then you become the doctor. You get the doctorate. Yeah? Just think about it. It does not come from outside.
Today, 2 Oscar Awards.
Eh?
Today, 2 Oscar Awards.
Oscar Awards.
No.
Yeah, India has got it.
So all those things are out of there when they bring out the brilliance.
Yes.
The brilliance.
Inner prompting.
So wherever there is brilliance, here says, I am there. In any field, under the banner of this spirituality, we were not accepting this brilliance in all fields. But later on, he himself promoted or prompted people in different occasion to encourage. When an agriculturist produces a wonderful product, he is given an award. Not for the sake of thickening his ego, but it is an acknowledgement of his efforts. And it will be a torchbearer, he will be a torchbearer for many. So in each and every field, no field is taboo, every field is his. Those of us who like cricket, when the person takes century, what is welling up in our mind? When he does something noble, because it is not because of any academic effort. It is purely his total whole-souled involvement, concentration, ideal is there, team spirit is there,
Throughout the life.
physical coordination is there, and so everybody excels.
Sure.
Wherever there is excellence, he says, I am there. Anyway, coming back to our original text, Kshetra, Kshetrajna and Jnana. This is the topic today he made us to dwell over. This is very, and this 22nd sloka, Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Cha Maheshwara. This is also very, very, very important. And then, what is the result? He says, Samam Sarveshu Bhudeshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram. Like that in the 28 also, Samam Pashyan Hi Sarvatra Samavastidameshwaram. Like that in
29th is also important.
29. എല്ലാ കർമ്മങ്ങളും പ്രകൃതി ക്രിയമാണാനി സർവശ യപശ്യതി തദാത്മാനം അകർത്താരം സപശ്യതി. All those things, somehow to keep on hammering that it is he who does, he who does, he is all pervading, he is there in everything. And he is beginningless. He is free from all attributes. Though he is residing in this body, he is not doing anything. Yatha sarvagatam sauchmyat. Just like this, that's also a beautiful analogy. Just like the space, enveloping everything. But none of the contents taint the space. Everything is contained. Just like any vessel which we use. Whether we put sour items, whether we put spicy items, whether we put sweet items, the container remains untouched and unaffected. Like that, the Atman, the all-pervading Atman, the consciousness itself, is the container, and all other things are the contents. So every time he is reminding us, the contents do not taint him. Yatha sarvagalam saukshmyat akasham no apalipyate sarvatravastito dehe tadhatma no apalipyate. So Atma also, yatha prakashatyeka krishnam lokamimam bravi kshetram kshetri tada krishnam prakashayati bharata. Just like this sun illuminates the whole world, kshetrajna, the Atma, not only he enlivens the whole body. The whole thing is enlivened by that. Ipragaram kshetrajnayor evam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye vidur yanti te param. So those who understand this kshetra and kshetrajna and also this prakriti, and also how to remain untainted, untouched, they reach me. With that, he closes in 34 slokas. So kindly go through it again and again and again. We may get some more and more dimensions, interpretations. It all depends upon, he is watching for our intensity. That's all. If we stop with what we heard, we will not be able to derive the fullest benefit. But if we go with that explanation further inward, we might see so many things clearly outside. Everything becomes relevant now. We are sitting before a group of coffee plants. Not merely plants, we become more and more reflective and contemplative. The stem is there, the branches are there, the leaf is there, the recently the blossomed one is there, the fruition has taken place. So many things, You can just go and say, nice. But a little more reflective, a little more meditative. Then you try to understand, everything comes. When we were closely associating with plantation management, we came to know, because of this, productivity, how to increase the productivity. What is the role of nitrogen? What is the role of potash? What is the role of phosphates? And then we apply that, And in order to ensure that the soil does not become acidic, When you and I become acidic, we don't feel like taking meal. It will not get digested. Similarly, whatever you put the input, it will not be converted into plant food. So we apply lime, no? There is a pH content. There is a norm for coffee plantation, 5 point something like that. We don't remember now. So then we take, after analysis of the soil analysis, we try to understand what is to be applied. Like that, all these things come from what? Come from a reflective mind, from a meditative mind. It throws open so many. All explorations are possible only because of that. So Bhagavad Gita asks us to become more and more reflective, more and more meditative. Not merely inside, because he has given his entire creation before us. And every step by us on these lines will be a push, giving a fillip to us. So let us all try to take all these messages. It should be comprehensive spirituality, not one-sided. So we pray to him who has provided, facilitated everything for us and made us to think on these lines to enable us to go forward with this state of mind, with this spirit, with this charged spirit, so that it is kept aflame. The tempo is kept aflame. So with that prayer, we will close. Tomorrow we will try for the 14th chapter. That's also a very important one. There are small chapters, but we are just covering it, that's all. Because it's the first phase of our in-depth study of. It has to be followed again and again and again and again and again and again. And every time we make a dip into it, we will try to get some pearls out of it. So this is our first dip. When Papa wrote Gita Sandesh, none of us gave so much importance for it. Why did he write? Tomorrow we'll read his also, this 13, 12 and 13. Today we forgot. Because he, of all the Shastras, he said this cannot be lost sight of. We must apply our mind more and more on Bhagavad Gita. Because it is a daily manual, like our In Quest of God. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Om Swamiji. Pranam.
Hari Om to everybody.
Pranam Swamiji.